Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Xena, Warrior Princess Season 6 to Helicon and back. So this episode I decided to talk about because this is one of the most gruesome, shocking episodes I had ever seen. I remember when this episode first came out years ago, I was not expecting to see this. I was not expecting to see the horrors of war depicted in the way that they did. Now, Xena is a pretty brutal show. It's an action-packed show. I've seen war done on this show plenty of times. I've seen people die on this show plenty of times. I have seen people get shot with arrows plenty of times. I have seen tons of arrows sticking out their chest many times. Many times. Oh boy. I have even seen people get blown up before, but never in the same episode. This was one of the most bloodiest, gruesome episodes I had ever seen in Buffy. In fact, the person who wrote this, she literally just said try to make this the most bloodiest thing you can like possibly make. That was like the notes and everything that she left behind, because like they wanted to show the aspects of war, but not just with anybody, the Amazons. And I love the Amazons to death. When I started watching Hercules, Xena, and Young Hercules, honest to God, no joke, I assumed Greek Amazons were a real thing. They made them seem so real on the show. But then when I got older and the internet was available and stuff, I sadly found out that there are no Amazons in the world. Which kind of now makes sense if men ruled the world for centuries and centuries and women were like in the kitchen and stuff. It would explain why there aren't like, no Amazons. However, I can't remember. I think it was the Gaul people. The people of Gaul back in the day, they made like a movie depicting that. I think like the 100 or 300 or something like that. And the Gaul people was depicted also on Xena, I believe. And those women, were allowed to fight in real life. And so there were women warriors and fighters and stuff, but like, it was very rare. But there were no Amazons. And Amazons were a very special group on the show. People just loved them. And yeah, the way they look kind of helped out too. But they were a group of strong women who took no crap from men. And, basically what it is that they deserted mankind, lived out in the woods, and lived life on their own to show that they can be bad all on their own, that they didn't need no man's help. They did, like, go back into like, at one point they were kind of like, people didn't like them because they would go into villages, raid all the little girls and women and take them. Sometimes they would go into the villages, have sex with men only to like give birth. And if they give birth to the girls, they'll keep them, and the boys, they'll just give back to the men and stuff. That's how it was depicted on the Hercules movie. And so, but in the show it was a little bit differently. And so these are like a really cool group of like, women and stuff. And every episode that ever featured Amazons were always a treat. It was always written to be a good episode. Even in Young Hercules and stuff. Because sometimes Young Hercules kind of faltered a little bit. Because they were trying to depict it for like young kids and teenagers and stuff. So every once in a while, it would kind of like, screw up and stuff. And so like, especially they had like seemed like they had a lower budget, and it was owned by Saban because Fox Kids wasn't, how Saban is. So anyway, But every episode, they were always depicted as being really cool, very fierce, very headstrong type women. And there will always be a couple of characters that'll be like the main characters that'll always stand out. And you just love them to death. You always love when they kept coming back and everything. But you gotta remember in season 6 of Xena, they did that time jump. And so the Amazons that everybody knew and loved from back in like the older days had all died. And here is the new generation. And with this new generation, they are all pretty much still scattered around the world. Now, the last episode we had, Gabrielle wants to reunite every Amazon tribe there is in the world and only have one major ruler, like a giant Amazon nation. And then in those individual groups, as they're still spread around the world, or maybe they'll live all in one place. But for now, if they were to live in the rest of the world, they would still have like, other tribe leaders, but there would be one central ruler. And, the reason why Gabrielle wanted to do that is because she is an Amazon queen. Now, I've never been happy about Gabrielle being an Amazon princess or an Amazon queen. A regular Amazon, fine, why not? But the Amazon queen thing, no. Because of the simple fact that this happened back, I believe, in season 1. And like Gabrielle was not a trained fighter at that time. She was still just like, the girly girl who ran off the mouth, who would hang out with Xena. And like, and since she saved that woman, she became the princess. And then when she challenged that one lady, she became the queen. Well, she didn't fight because like Xena had to fight for her. And so she became queen. But of course, she did not want to stick around because she wanted to travel with Xena. And so because of that, she deserted her Amazon sisters. And every couple of like episodes and seasons, they would go back to those like tribe of Amazons in Greece. And, she'll always take back up the mantle of like queen and be challenged by somebody. And she will always end up winning somehow, even back when she wasn't really all that trained. And my problem was she wasn't fully trained at that time. Now, of course, when like, Xena thought she died and Xena went to the northern tribe, which is near Siberia and stuff, and up in the mountains. And so like, at some point after they died, at some point Gabrielle did rejoined the Amazons after her peace trip and everything, and coming back from the dead, and like being frozen in time and all this other stuff. And so I don't think she took hold of the tribe in the north, but because she is recognized as a queen, there were times where she did lead them and stuff. And she would do like the rituals, but she never fit in as an Amazon. She was never acquainted with them because of the simple fact she never hung with them. And so it always felt awkward that she would always be like the queen of like the Amazons and stuff. And Vera was a very capable Amazon, but who was bratty. And Xena had to teach her many ways. And in fact, in the last episode, she wanted to kill Xena's daughter because Xena's daughter, back when Eve Olivia, she killed Vera's sister and tried to she put the other Amazons into slavery and everything. And so like because of that, they hate her behind and they wanted to kill her. So Xena had to prevent them from doing that while also teaching Vera many lessons, to the point where they want her to take over as the head queen of like the Amazons. And, because they've gone through so many queens and so many different Cyans, and there was supposed to be an Amazon Academy spin-off show that was kind of stupid in that backdoor pilot. And like, that never got made, thank God. And so the Amazons were always very interesting. And so it's sad to see one of the coolest groups on the show literally get slaughtered and everything. all out of revenge. Now, this episode is directed by Michael Hurst, and you best know him, of course, as Aeolus, the older one and stuff. This was the first episode I've ever seen him direct of anything. I've seen plenty more on Legend of the Seeker, and he always does a phenomenal job. My only problem with the direction in this episode is that every time they fight, it's sped up, and it gets on my nerves. But I remember when I first watched this, like I said before, I was not expecting to see what I saw. I could not quite appreciate what I saw because I was assuming, they still had lots of good action and stuff. But I felt like this episode let Gabrielle down. Gabrielle is the queen. She is the one who leads them into war, yet is Xena, as always, planning out everything, and Xena's the one who fights the major boss person at the end and throughout the rest of the episode. Gabrielle does not. Gabrielle is kind of put in the role of sidekick again, which makes no sense because now at this point, after they got through Frozen in Time and went through time and everything, Gabrielle has a lot more skills now and can actually fight and is willing to kill. And so I don't understand why the writers let Gabrielle in her moment when she should have shined as a true leader and putting her troops through war and everything. It should never have been Xena to get the glory. Now, I understand it's Xena's show, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what the writers were thinking. There's even a part in this where they originally had it where Gabrielle orders a woman to her death to sacrifice herself for a distraction. But then they decided to change that up. And Gabrielle kind of asked for the lady volunteers, and she should have gave that command. Like, she should have given that command. And there's a couple other things that are kind of odd in this episode. At times it does get a little confusing. Come on, like, why are they in the water if the plane can go through land? And then I remember, oh wait, because something they said. So what exactly in detail, what is this about? Well, all the Amazons are from around the world. I mean, they're all around the world. Africa, Italy, Greece. They're there, you know what I'm saying? It's cool to see the different races and the different looks, the different clothes, the different swords and everything. I wish they would have done more than what they did in that last episode and stuff. It would have been really cool to explore the different cultures and stuff. Now, the blonde girl from the northern tribe, who's a new Cyan, the third Cyan. Wait, is she the third? Wait, hold on. Wait, there was the original one, the Selma Blair one. Then there was the Victoria Pratt one. Then there was the one from Young Hercules. Then there was that other one that didn't last long, and now it's this one. She should have been Cyan 5. Why is she called Cyan 3 online? I don't understand. But anyway, the brand new Cyan, which is a name given from the very first Cyan and stuff. And so, she is interesting because she's from the Northern Tribe, but she played in an earlier season when Eve was just a baby and stuff. So this is her ancestor because there's no way in the world this could be her grown up. Unless it is her grown up and she just looks good for her age. But this is her descendant. And so, she looks just like her. And now she's the new Cyan. And she's also in that episode of Power Rangers Dino Thunder that I talked about just a few weeks ago, I think. So they're there and they're doing their ritual and everything, and crown Vera. And so Xena's not allowed to see because she's not an Amazon. They're doing their little Amazon dance and everything like that. And so there's a solar eclipse, and while that's going on, a group of men with white masks are attacking them. And so they're just slaughtering the crap out of them. And Amazons are very good fighters, and it doesn't understand why are they getting their butts kicked. But they did get ambushed, so you know what I'm saying. And so Xena comes a little bit too late, but she disarms their leader. By that time, so many of their sisters have been slaughtered. And Xena recognizes the weapon is from Helicon. Now that's a real place in the world. So Xena is the one who comes up with the idea. Okay, look, I'll go there and like kill the leader, and then y'all can come in from like the rear through like a boat and like attack the castle and stuff like that. And Gabrielle goes along with that. And I'm just kind of like, dude, she is the queen, but she can't even come up with a plan of attack. And so like it's on, you know what I'm saying? Xena heads there on land while the ladies head through sea. And so because like it's on like the mountaintops and stuff like that. And so Xena goes there and she's whooping this dude behind because she ambushed him. And then he hit Xena so hard, she went flying back very far. Xena's all like, there's only one type of person that can hit me like that, a god. And there are no more Greek gods except for Aphrodite and Ares. And of course, Hercules is half god. But he informs her that he's half. Now, I can't remember this dude's name, and I can't pronounce it after reading it, so my bad. But he's played by Craig Parker. Now, Craig has been on the show before, playing a different person. But he is a half god on this show. And this is his second time playing a half god. He played one of young Hercules. And you know what's weird about young Hercules? There's no way that could be canon to Hercules and Xena because certain things are depicted slightly different. So anyways, he informs her that he is the son of Artemis and he's pissed at the Amazon because they deserted Artemis. But Xena informs him that I'm the one who killed Artemis when she had the power to kill the gods. But he is smitten by, he is like pissed at the Amazons and stuff. He think they betrayed his mom. It does not make sense at all why he would attack the Amazons, and they had nothing to do with Xena killing Artemis and stuff. And he should be pissed at Xena, but then she busts free because he lets her know, yo, I got catapults and I know they're on a boat. So he gives the command of fire, and all you see are big blazing balls in the sky taking out that boat. And it is a scary scene because there's at least anywhere between 50 to 100 Amazons on that boat. And so it's just literally getting smashed. And Xena's like, crap, dude, because that was her plan. So she jumps through like the window to try to like meet up with them. By like the morning, they are still getting bombed by catapults and stuff. But now they're trying to make it to the shore, and they're close to it. And so they're running on like the shoreline in the sand, and it is one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen. War is not a funny thing. It is not fun. And, you know, no matter what century you're in, war is terrible. There are tons of like catapult explosions going off as they're running and stuff. And if the catapults don't get them, well, the arrows and the archers are going to get them. And so many of these Amazons are like terrified and scared, and they just want to run back home and everything. And many of them still want to avenge because, see, Vera has been kidnapped. And so, like, you know, they're brave and they will stand their ground, but fear is setting in. Fear set in when they was on the boat. And since, because they don't know this enemy at all. They don't know his fighting strategy. They don't know what's in the castle. They don't know nothing. Because most of them aren't even from that part of the world, even though they all speak the same language for our benefit. And so you literally see tons of dead bodies on like the beach. You even see people getting hit by like explosions. You see them getting shot with arrows. And so Gabrielle sees that they can make it to the castle, but they need a distraction. And this is the part I talked about. In the script, she orders a woman to sacrifice her life for a diversion. Instead, they were going to have it to where she volunteers, but then that's how they filmed it. But then they came up with a compromise. Gabrielle just literally states, we need a distraction. And then the woman volunteers. It would have been so much more powerful if she would have gave that command. like a real like commanding officer. So the woman just runs out and then boom, you see her explode, and it is terrifying. Well, at some point, they head to where they have to head to while more of them are getting shot with arrows. Xena shows up, and Xena does her little chakram thing where she blows up a catapult and everything. And so, like, she makes it to Gabrielle, and one of the girls is so terrified she wants to run. When she does, she gets shot up and everything. This is very, very, very gruesome. And so, while all this is going on, the evil dude is talking to Vera, and he's all like, I'm gonna kill each and every one of your sisters one by one or less. And he gives her an option off camera. Later on, all the bombing has stopped, and we see Vera walking out to the Amazons with a blindfold on. Xena and them get her, and she just gives up. She's just like, I want to go home. Like, I have to protect my sisters. And so, like, Gabrielle's all like, no, we have to like storm the castle. And so Xena informs her the wounded would never be able to make it and stuff like that. And so Gabrielle was willing to leave the wounded there while they go to like the castle, but Vera's all like, no, I'm not leaving nobody behind. Now the actress who plays Vera and also plays Gabrielle, they went back and forth with these lines, switching them up. Gabrielle's almost kind of like, I don't know, man, like, I just don't know why they wrote her the way they did in this episode, because they wrote her before to be so much more braver and stuff. Also, Vera's the actress I got through talking about in the Bring It On movie. And when you watch this, well, not this episode, but when you watch other episodes of Xena, you'll see exactly why I wanted her to play Wonder Woman so badly and stuff. So anyways, at some point, Vera convinces Gabrielle to go storm the castle by herself. Xena can't find Gabrielle. And then we see it. Vera's about to shoot Gabrielle with an arrow before Xena stops her. And then we see explosions going off near Gabrielle. And she heads back and she's pissed. Well, Vera pretty much, made a plan if, kill Gabrielle and I'll let y'all leave and everything. Because he wants to make Xena suffer. And we all know Xena is in love with Gabrielle. And so the other Amazons want to kill Vera because of this, because she betrayed them. But Gabrielle will not allow it. But she will not allow Vera to come with them. But then, she pretty much begs to come and fight and everything. At this point in time, there is no way they can storm the castle on foot. So they're going to decide to do another ambush by like the water. So they take all their wounded and they're dead, and then they head to like, the water. They're there at night and they're swimming, but there's a problem. There's a shark. So Gabrielle makes finally a tough decision. I don't know if this woman was wounded or dead or what, but this is the only one that they sacrificed. And she throws the woman overboard on the little plank that they have, and the woman gets ate by the shark. This is the version they need to hurry up and swim to like the shore. Because, they're trying to head back to home and everything instead of storming the castle. But Xena heads to the castle. She fights the evil half god dude only to get her butt kicked, and it's weird. She's acting weird and she gives up and she retreats. I'm all like, no, this is Xena. She has something up her sleeve, and plus there's still a couple more minutes left. So the Amazons have retreated already, and Xena retreats into the woods. He follows with his army, and Xena lets him know that, yo, man, you just walked into an ambush. And the reason for this is because now the Amazons have like the high ground and everything. They're doing what they do best. They rappel down from the trees, and they do a sneak attack from the ground by like digging a hole and coming up from it and stuff. This is how they attack so many other like, men and armies and stuff to catch them off guard. And it catches these people off guard. And it's a huge fight. Well, of course, Xena's fighting the main dude. And I'm all just like, why isn't that Gabrielle? Gabrielle has fought a god before and nearly won and everything when she fought Ares. And so, like, this dude's only half. And so Xena, he lets Xena know, you look, man, I'm a god. You can't kill me. But then Xena reminds him, look, man, you're half god like Hercules. And she slices his stomach open. And he dies and everything. After this, the fight is pretty much over. There's only a few men left. And Gabrielle, for whatever reason, chases one of the soldiers into the woods. She is that pissed off. And I'm just like, why did the writers write that for? It's so bizarre and weird. Xena fights the main dude, the war is over, and Gabrielle just chasing after this one soldier like a bratty person who's pissed off. And so she goes for the kill, but Xena makes her stop and lets Gabrielle know that, look, this is over with. Gabrielle is not acting like a queen whatsoever in this episode, except for the shark part. And so when you get a glimpse of like who's all left, there's only like 12 Amazons left, including Gabrielle and Xena. They started off with 50 to 100, and now they only have a dozen. This is why this episode is so bone chilling and everything. And reason why I was in such in shock and awe back in my teen years, I could not believe the brutality and how many of the Amazon women died in this. And so, you know, Vera becomes like, I guess, the queen or whatever. It's never really said what happens to her after this or what happens to the rest of the Amazons. Now, of course, all the rest of the Amazons are probably back home at their tribe, but they sent in representatives for like the crowning and stuff. This episode was just phenomenal. Like, I could like this was I miss good television like this, man. Like, Xena was one of the top shows in the world. And you know, it's a shame that Xena isn't around no more. Of course, if they were to reboot it, they'll screw it up somehow. You know, but this episode was just so, oh my god. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.